Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Amma ba'du, fa'uzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. This is study number 11 of the Ramadan daily Quran studies for the year 2022, being presented by me, Zahid Aziz, on behalf of the Ahmadi Anjuman Islam Lahore, UK. Continuing with prayer, the topic of this study is the regulated form of prayer. By means of the established form of prayer, we are drawn out of our worldly struggles 5 times a day and made to realize that equality, fraternity, and love are the real sources of human happiness. The time spent on prayer is therefore not wasted, even from the point of view of humanitarianism. In fact, the best use of that time is being made during prayer in learning great lessons for human life. Now, the form of the prayer, the postures, you might say, that is indicated in verses of the Holy Quran, such as the following. And this is one from which I've read before. وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَارْكَعُوا مَعَ الرَّاكِعِينَ. And keep up prayer and give the due charity and bow down with those who bow down. Chapter 2, verse 43. Then we have Hafizu ala salawate wa salatil wusta wa qumu lillahi qanitin, which is guard the prayers and the most excellent prayer and stand up truly obedient to Allah. Chapter 2, verse 238. Then we have Inna salata kanat alal mu'minina kitabam mawquta. And that is, prayer indeed has been enjoined on the believers. Enjoined means they've been commanded to perform it. Prayer indeed has been enjoined on the believers at fixed times. Kitabam mawquta. Chapter 4, verse 103. And then, of course, we have Ya ayyuhallazina amanu idza nudiya lis-salati min yawmil jumu'ati fas'au ila zikrillahi wa zarul bay' zalikum khairul lakum in kuntum ta'lamun. Which is, O you who believe, when the call is sounded for prayer on Friday, hasten to the remembrance of Allah and leave off business. That is better for you if you know. Chapter 62, verse 9. So, why is prayer regulated in Islam with a fixed form, at fixed times, with defined postures? It is because the purpose of prayer in Islam is not only the purification and development of the individual worshipper. More than that, one purpose of prayer is to level all differences between people and bring about love, concord, and a true union of humanity. And these purposes cannot be achieved without a regularly instituted form of prayer, so that everyone should gather together at the stated times and should stand up in a reverent form and bow down and prostrate themselves before their great maker as one body. And even apart from this particular purpose, prayer just as an institution could not have been kept alive unless there was an outward form to which all people should try to conform. An outward form is needed to remind people of the underlying idea, as well as to continue that institution, because it creates a framework which then continues that system. Framework which is the same for everyone. Now, the end or purpose which Islam has in view is moral upliftment of the community as a whole, and not of particular individuals separately. And so, without uniformity, the whole community or the nation cannot make any progress. And to have uniformity, there must be a form. Muslims are required to assemble at particular times in mosques or in other appointed places, and to follow the lead of the Imam. However, every prayer is divided into two parts, one to be performed in congregation and the other alone. And even in the congregational part, there is scope for the individual to give expression to his soul's own prayers and desires before God, and to give vent to his own true sentiments as an individual. Even the congregational part, there is some scope for doing that at certain points. But in the individual part of the prayer, we may select any portions of the Holy Quran to recite, and also give expression to our own feelings by making any supplications and prayers, and in any language that we choose. And the space and scope for this is during any of the four postures. That is to say, the postures of standing, bowing, prostrating, and sitting. And the Islamic mode of worship is designed to concentrate attention on one purpose, and that is to realize that you are in the presence of God. So if you take all these things, the ablution before the prayer, the respectful and reverential attitude in standing, the bowing down, the kneeling with the forehead placed on the ground, that is to say, the prostration, and then the respectful sitting posture, all of these help the mind to realize the presence of God as a fact. And what the worshipper is doing is finding his or her heart's joy in honoring the great master, honoring God, not only with the tongue by speaking out words, but with the whole body adopting a respectful attitude. And the spirit of humility within us is expressed in particular in the postures of reverence which we adopt in prayer. And the whole prayer is a most solemn and serious affair, during which the worshipper does not turn his attention to anything else, or at least should not turn his attention to anything else, or indulge in any movement which should distract his attention and disturb his prayerful attitude. And the prayer, therefore, is an undisturbed meditation on the presence of God. For this reason, prayer in Islam is not accompanied with music, but by recitations from the Holy Quran, the recitations which mention the love of God, the mercy of God, the power of God, the knowledge of God. And when someone is sick or is on a journey, that person is permitted to say prayers in any posture which is convenient and suits the situation. In such a case, the worshipper is willing to humble himself in any position, but since his bodily condition or the circumstances do not allow him to assume the prescribed postures. So, if he cannot pray according to the regular procedure, then this does not affect the sincerity or the effectiveness or the value or worth of his prayers. So that is the end of this study. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. آمين.